Today on CityCast Salt Lake, Friday is Pioneer Day, a distinctly Utah holiday. We make sure you know what's going on around town and explain some of the wacky traditions. Plus, some things to know about this lightning we've been having, and a new survey naming Salt Lake's most unmistakably Utah neighborhoods. We might disagree. I'm Ali Vallarta. I'm here with producer Ivana Martinez.
Hi.
And CityCast Salt Lake contributor Andy Larsen.
Good morning, Ali.
Hey, gang. Raise your hand if you have Friday off for Pioneer Day.
I'm raising my hand right now. I know podcast is not a visual medium, but yes.
It is now.
It can be.
Podcasts are just talk shows now, Andy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm jealous. Yeah, I mean, this is like the holiday that if you moved to Utah yesterday, you have some questions for sure. But mostly it means like the liquor store is closed and your friends have the day off. But if you don't work for a Utah company, you don't have the day off. We've all been there.
Yeah, it's Utah's like personal 4th of July, I would call it.
Yeah, that's good framing. Andy, like, will you sort of give us like the skinny on Pioneer Day? Are you prepared to do this?
I am not, but I'll do my best native Utah anyway.
Sure.
So Pioneer Day is the day that the pioneers arrived in Salt Lake City on July 24th. And so, yeah, we celebrate that day and have kind of ever since over the last, 180 years now? 160 years?
It was 1847.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 180 years. Great. And yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. This is when Utah was kind of founded as a place. Certainly it's not the day that we achieved statehood, but it's when, white folks arrived here for in mass for the big first time.
The violent settlement of the state began. A couple things about Pioneer Day that I think are really interesting to note. One is Joseph Smith wasn't there. It was Brigham Young.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the LDS Church and the history of Mormonism assume that Joseph Smith made it to Utah. You would think that. But he didn't. He never made it. Mm-hmm. He died in Illinois. And so it was Brigham Young that brought everyone into the valley. And then the other thing is that, right, isn't this when they famously said, this is the place.
This is the place.
This is the place. Yeah.
Classic.
And why we have This is the Place Heritage Park. And, we all learn about this in 4th grade elementary in Utah schools.
Yep.
So great.
Yep. So that's what happened. And so, I mean, if you're hearing that, you can imagine that there are a lot of people who have a lot of different feelings about Pioneer Day and whether it is and isn't worth celebrating and what are and aren't the most appropriate ways to celebrate. So we'll get into the alternatives to Pioneer Day, but let's start with, the sort of lean in, put on your bonnet, churn butter, approach to Pioneer Day, the mainstream traditions. Ivana, what do you recommend? What's on the platter that you think people should tune into?
I think people should go to the rodeo.
Which one?
The Ogden one,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've gone to the one here in Salt Lake, and that one's great fun. But I had a lot of fun at the Ogden Pioneers Day Rodeo. And a fun little fact, it was during the height of the Great Depression when, the Ogden mayor launched this summertime celebration to lift the spirits of, northern Utah families. I went last Saturday, and it was so fun, guys. And there weren't a lot of people there, so it wasn't as crowded as the one in Salt Lake, but equally as fun. They had bulls and all the other stuff. They had a concert afterwards. And I think you should check it out this Friday. They're going to have a Pioneer special.
What's a Pioneer special?
I don't know. I mean, it's their themed one, specific. They'll have different days dedicated to different things.
Oh, I see.
And this one's specifically for the Pioneer Day.
Got it.
So expect a lot of rodeo, a lot of, Utah culture is what I'm
Bonnets
anticipating.
and suspenders. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Andy, what about you? What do you think is the Pioneer Day tradition?
I don't know that this is the Pioneer Day tradition, and Ivana took the good one in the rodeo, right? There's also the parade, whatever. But to me, the Deseret News 5K, and we have to, and marathon and half marathon and 10K. And now I'll tell you, all of these you can still register for them, or at least you could as of this recording. Okay. But I'll say this. the best race, I think, in this whole allotment of races is the 1K.
Hell
and
yeah,
not
brother.
only is that because that's like the one
yeah.
I feel most confident about. Like,
Me too,
completing.
Andy. I'm
but
with
it
you
is
right there.
also just $5. And participants receive a finisher medal, race bib, swag bag, and refreshments at the finish line. And you don't have to get up that early because the race is at 8:45. You know, like the marathon starts at 5:30. You don't have to be a 5:30 person. You can be an 8:45 person, run 0.6 miles, and get a swag bag and a medal. So I think
should we do it,
like
Andy?
a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm down.
I would do it if I had the day off.
Yeah.
For sure.
Surely we can get like an exception for just you running just 10 minutes or not even that, like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Our boss just slacked us, heard that and said no.
No.
Haha, no. Sorry, Ivana, you can't get 5 minutes.
Dang it.
You should sue. That's a smoke break.
Yeah, this is a smoke break. You could probably smoke while you ran the Pioneers 1K. It may not be super Pioneer Day, like, friendly, but I think you could try
Who's
it.
to
That's
say?
the way Brigham Young would have wanted it, for sure, Ivana. I love that you bring up the Des News 5K, Andy, because that also reminds me, street closures. Like, plan on street closures for that marathon. I think they run like down from the U past the Hogle Zoo. Every year they change the route a little bit. I was actually down at the Salt Lake Running Company getting a new pair of sneakers. Shout out to them. And someone who was working there was telling me that this year they made the route even harder, in his view, like more
interesting.
challenging, more uphill, etc. And there was sort of concern in the whispers among everyone at the running company because it's going to be hot. It's like always hot. It doesn't matter how early you start. It is compared to like the Salt Lake City Marathon, which is in May. By end of July, we are at peak heat in this valley. And so it's like kind of terrible timing, but also, that's when the holiday is, so that's when they want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, road closures, tons of road closures, and then also tons of road closures for the parade. So like basically everything north of 33rd. If you need to go like north of 33rd, plan on like investigating what streets are and aren't open. Plan on a lot of time to get there.
I love that the tagline on their website is, "This is the race."
So good.
That's a good pun.
It's so good. Yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I have to recommend the Salt Lake City Days of 47 Rodeo. I think it's pretty cool that we live in a city where you can take the tracks to a rodeo. That's like kind of a dream. And I don't know, can you do that in like Dallas? Eat your heart out. But like, there's something really delightful about the fact that it is this massive, massive rodeo. The stands are full. You're watching bull riding, and you are in the heart of the Fair Park neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think tickets are still available. The downtown Salt Lake City Rodeo kicked off on Wednesday night. It's going to go through Saturday night. So you can scoop tickets for like anywhere in the $30 to $40 arena. But it's always a good time. They always do like kind of a drone show after. I remember in years past that there is mutton busting, which is sort of like a mandatory event for me at a rodeo, which is when they strap children, sometimes close to toddler age,
They're so
onto
small.
sheep and run them out into the arena and see how long they can hold on. So the accessibility of it, like the fact that you can leave this rodeo downtown and not have to get in a car and not have to like deal with the traffic, just like hop on the tracks and get home is so ace to me. Okay, let's talk about a little ditty called Pie and Beer Day. This is basically the alternative to, this is like, if Pioneer Day had an alt account, it would be Pie and Beer Day. And this is when people who don't feel any sort of affinity to the pioneer arrival in the valley, to Pioneer Day itself, have this alternative celebration, making the most of the day off of work, basically, called Pie and Beer Day. And you eat pie and you drink beer. And I'm going to go first because I recommend that you go to the official Pie and Beer Day celebration at the ballpark in Salt Lake City this year. It is on Friday evening. I am legally obliged to recommend that you go because I will be a judge for the amateur pie baking competition. The CityCast Salt Lake team is actually also going to be there. We're going to be tabling. But this is really fun. Last year, I checked IDs at the door as a volunteer. I love volunteering for this event. It's fun. You basically get to see every single person in the entire city over the course of a few hours. 7,000 people went last
That's a lot
year.
of people.
I know. And the ballpark is huge, though. It can easily accommodate them. But they did run out of beer and they ran out of pie. I remember one particular man standing out.
Those are the key elements, I feel.
There was one guy with a strong Eastern European accent, absolutely screaming at the top of his lungs outside of this event last year. There are no IPAs left.
Very normal and like sane reaction to that.
I remember standing in checking IDs, moving people through the line, and people's line kind of just being like, I'm like happy to drink a Heineken. Like, it's fine. You know, and I was like, God love ya. Like,
I'm glad he yelled it like as kind of an announcement to everyone trying to get in. Yes! Like, there are no IPAs left. You don't have to
you
get
have
it.
To go. You have to go.
Just don't wait in line. Anyway,
you have to speak your truth, you know?
And
that was his truth.
I guess if it has to be IPAs for you, and if they run out of IPAs, you're going to have a meltdown, then this event is not for you. But if you want to come and have a fantastic time and bring the kids and whatever, then this event is for you.
Can I ask you, Ali, what you're looking for in your pie judging?
Yeah. So I'm all about the crust. I think the crust makes or breaks it. I had a pie the other day that someone made that was like a homemade shortbread crust, and it knocked my socks off. It was like perfect combo, sweet, salty. So I would say with me, you want to hit the right notes of sweet and salty. I don't want to be too much of either. And then I think if it's a homemade crust and if it melts in my mouth, that's a winner.
Do you have a favorite pie, Ali?
Yeah, strawberry rhubarb.
Okay.
So tell me, Ivana, where are you celebrating Pie and Beer Day?
Well, I'll be at the Smiths Ballpark with the CityCast team, but I want to also suggest Mill Creek Common. They're giving away free pie as well from Harmon's, and they'll have root beer floats. They'll be using the Blacksmith ice cream, and this is a free event. They'll have live music, line dancing, cornhole. It's from 6 to 9, and I think it's a really fun alternative if you're looking for other options as well.
Love that. Love Mill Creek Common. One of the great public works projects in our county over the past few years. Andy, what about you? What are you doing for pie and beer?
Yeah, my favorite spot, and I've been here the last couple of years, is Hopkins Brewing. And that's because they partner with Pie's the Limit, is the name of and they're just made to order pies. They don't have a store, but you can on Pie and Beer Day on July 24th, they bring their pies to Hopkins, and you can buy them along with some delicious beer from Hopkins. So looks like the flavors they'll have this year are blueberry sour cream, chocolate banana cream, and strawberry rhubarb. Doors open up at 11, and then please get here while the supplies last. So, yeah.
Very important note.
Oh, yeah. Huge shout out to Dominique at Pie's the Limit. One of our first guests on this show, ever.
Oh, cool.
Years and years ago when we started this podcast. He is massively talented. He's also from, if I remember correctly, Louisiana originally. And so there's something about a Southern pie baker that I just sort of innately trust.
I think another thing that I really want to mention is the fireworks. On the 4th of July, I didn't really get to experience the fireworks. And I think that'll be an option for a lot of Utahns thanks to the kind of weather that we've been having these last couple of days.
The rain?
They're going to be having the rain. Let it rain. Yeah. I know that they're going to be having a drone show in Liberty Park, and they're going to have fireworks at Daybreak Field, the America First Square after that Bees game on Friday. And in Utah County, there's just going to be a fireworks show. There's going to be fireworks for sure.
Yeah.
But we should note that they're banned in Salt Lake City, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
But the governor kind of said it's a different approach
to
the 4th of July. It's more laissez-faire than it was ahead of the 4th of July. So I think we should expect more fireworks, which hopefully everyone does responsibly. I'm a little nervous. But yeah, the lead-in with some rain has eased some of the tension around that. Producer Ivana Martinez, CityCast Salt Lake contributor Andy Larsen. Over this past weekend, a Utah man was hiking sort of on the border between Salt Lake and Utah County, and he was struck by lightning and killed, which is unbelievably rare. I think this was
Heartbreaking.
Really shocking. Everyone was talking about it. It's a nightmare situation. And Andy, you in your day job, when you're not on the pod with us, you write for the Salt Lake Tribune, and you looked into this, whether we should all be worried about lightning and these lightning storms that we're having. What did you find?
Yeah, so like lightning strike deaths are super duper rare. We've only had 23 since 1996, so like less than one per year. And in fact, only 2 in the last decade. So like this does not happen often. Which may or may not make you feel better. Ivana, you look still concerned.
I don't know, Andy. Like I know that your story covered this, but for some reason, like I had so much anxiety. The idea of like being struck by lightning is like one of my worst fears for whatever reason. Like ever since I was a little kid, and I like would grow up and visit my dad in Texas, and they would have some crazy lightning storms, and this would be like my biggest fear. And then seeing that this recently happened in Utah, I was like, oh no. And that we've had quite a few here in Utah specifically.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 other facts that might make you feel better. One, over 90% of people who are struck by lightning survive.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
Which is kind of wild, but that is good. Now, like many of them do have long-term effects and conditions, and so like, it's not the best, but
a little caveat there. Okay.
That is, it's better than dying probably. And then 2, over 80% of people who are struck by lightning are men, not women.
I did find that interesting in your story.
Is it because they're taller?
That is not the hypothesis. The hypothesis is that like it is because men are doing more kind of reckless activities outdoors. So like the number one activity nationwide that people are doing while they're struck by lightning is fishing, which
I guess that
tends
makes sense.
to be something men do more often than women, I think is fair. Then there's boating, and then there's farming and ranching and camping and roofing. And I think, many of those are kind of predominantly male activities. There's kind of a myth that golf is the most common activity for lightning strikes. It's actually 9th on the list, or actually 11th on the list. 11th on the list.
Is the myth because of the club? Because you're holding a metal rod?
Yeah, and in fact, there's like a extremely common bad golf joke that's like, if you're ever on a golf course and lightning comes around, what you should do is hold up your 1 iron, because not even God can hit a 1 iron.
Okay.
Very, very bad dad joke, but that is the common one. But yeah, the idea is you're out in the open and swinging metal clubs and, et cetera.
I did find it interesting, Andy, that like while fishing is like the big activity, I believe, like what is it nationwide? It's usually camping or hiking here in Utah.
Yeah. The leading activities done while being struck by lightning, and I guess being struck and killed by lightning, have been hiking and camping, which maybe kind of fits more of what more people are doing here in Utah. I also think like the mountain ranges play a role here a little bit. But yeah, it is different than the rest of the nation for sure.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I was caught. I recently got a little like Vespa motorbike.
That's cool.
And so I'm like, riding that around town, and it's really a hoot. But on Tuesday night, I was headed over to a friend's house to have a glass of wine and got caught in that crazy storm that moved in from like, West Jordan or whatever. And there was a brief moment where I'm pretty sure it was hailing. And I'm like out there in a tank top and shorts and like in this horrible rain. And I'm like, this is like, oh my God, this is so scary. And I eventually even had to pull over, and cars were passing me, and people were just kind of looking at me out their window and kind of shrugging like, we can't help you, but like, we see you.
But are you okay?
But my experience was so colored by this horrific story about this man being struck by lightning that it was the only thing I could think about. And it feels like these kinds of stories, that's like exactly how it goes, right? It becomes like for a certain aftershock period, for a certain like amount of time, every time you see lightning, every time, whatever, you just think all of a sudden, but it could happen, right? And I think that had I been stuck in that storm, 6 months from now, it wouldn't have even occurred to me that I should like be afraid of the lightning. I would have just like assumed it enough of a rarity.
Yeah. So I'm on a volleyball team with Emily's husband, Pablo, and we had a game on Tuesday night, and the lightning came in, and that also happened to be the day that this article was published. And I was like, that would be extremely ironic, right? Like if I get struck by lightning,
Just your luck. Yeah.
on the day we write about the risk of lightning strikes. But we did take evasive early action, which is what you should do if you see lightning coming. 10 of the 23 people who were struck by lightning in Utah over those last 30 years were on their way to shelter. So like just doing it earlier is a big difference. And yeah, be aware of the risk, even though like it is not a huge risk.
Okay.
Yeah. I was looking on, because I'm kind of a freak, and I was like, I need to be as safe as possible. And I was looking at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, like do's and don'ts, and like what not to do is like, or what not to trust is like isolated trees, cliffs or rocky overhangs, picnic shelters, pavilions, carports, dugouts, beach shacks, basically any structure with open sides. Convertibles, top up or not. I'm guessing that also for you, Ali. Stay safe out there on your Vespa. Do not drive if you read the forecast beforehand.
Well, but this is so hard to do because we live in a valley. And so like weather comes off the lake, weather comes out of the canyons, vice versa. It moves so fast. When I left the lower avenues, it was a clear day. And when I got to near Sugar House, it was pouring rain and lightning.
And I guess like in that situation, I'd probably suggest you just like wait it out at like your friend's house until the storm is over.
Yeah. Well, I did. I mean, what we did was sit on the couch and get drunk. But like I had to get there,
Yeah. True.
But yeah. No, I mean it's frightening stuff, and it feels like we're in for more and more lightning this year already. Like it's in the forecast. The monsoon season is here. It's part of the reason that the days have been so humid, which is sort of a crazy feeling. We're not used to that. So thanks for looking into this, Andy. I think you like assuaged certainly some of my fears.
Yeah, it is. It is rare, but it does happen, and just take some pretty standard precautions and you'll probably be fine.
Producer Ivana Martinez, CityCast Salt Lake contributor and Salt Lake Tribune reporter Andy Larsen. I want to talk to you about this survey we received of, quote, unmistakably Utah neighborhoods. I got some beef, but first I got to give a shout out to a sponsor for this episode, which is Canyon View Credit Union. I'm really proud that our partners include credit unions and not big banks. That's all I'll say. But I think it's pretty cool that Canyon View Credit Union supports our show. We love them. So what they want me to be sure you know is that if you need a new car, you can finance your vehicle with Canyon View Credit Union, and your first payment won't be due for 90 days. So you get a little bit of breathing room from your down payment to your first payment. More time to enjoy the drive, plan your next adventure, savor that fresh new car smell without adding a payment to your monthly mix right away. You can get all the details at canyonviewcu.com. It's a limited time offer. It won't last that long. But canyonviewcu.com is the place to get info. They're federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply. Shout out to Canyon View Credit Union. Okay, you two. Unmistakably Utah neighborhoods. This survey counts among them Old Town Park City, Sugar House, and the Avenues. Do you agree?
No.
No. I also have methodology issues with this survey, but anyway.
No, wait. Tell us. Because you're a data reporter, Andy. So
yeah. Okay, so this is a survey done of 3,000 people nationwide, and actually U.S. and Canada.
Okay.
So that means that roughly 30 people in Utah took it, which means that like maybe, 6 people said the Avenues or Sugar House or Park City, whatever, right? Like, we could have banded together as CityCast friends and changed what we believe are the unmistakably Utah neighborhoods.
Okay.
Nevertheless, I think it's an interesting topic of conversation.
I think it's kind of hilarious that you pointed that out, Andy, because I wonder if those people watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and they're just like constantly seeing like, they're like, oh, because you know how in that show they'll place like Salt Lake and it's actually a Utah County place.
Mm-hmm. Except I think if they were, then what they would have voted for was like Daybreak, which I was shocked wasn't in this list. Because to me, if you aren't a Utahn and you're thinking about what's quote unquote unmistakably Utah, it's the like Stepford of it all. It's the planned community. It's the like it's Daybreak. I actually think if you like live in Canada and you don't know anything about Utah and you have to name an unmistakably Utah neighborhood, it doesn't look like the Avenue.
What I suspect is that they didn't interview the Canadians about Utah. They interviewed only Utahns about Utah and Virginians about Virginia and not Utah, et cetera, et cetera. So like, I think it really was like the tiniest sample possible.
Yeah.
I find that interesting that you say Daybreak, Ali, because to me, like when I heard unmistakable Utah, my mind immediately went to like Provo and like, I mean, that as a whole is a city, but like there's a small neighborhood called Rock Canyon neighborhood. And that to me is so Utah. And it's so Utah to me for so many reasons. It's so close to the mountains. Like I'm maybe a little bit biased because I grew up in Provo. And that to me is like what feels like Utah to me. I think that's like a lot of it. But also like what makes an unmistakable Utah neighborhood? Wards.
Oh.
Ward culture.
Sure.
Your proximity to an LDS church. How close you are to a soda shop. I don't know. Like that's kind of like, it's very suburban in my mind. And so it's like Daybreak is one of those unmistakable neighborhoods if you're a Utahn as well. But I think my mind immediately went into the suburbs of like Utah County.
I think Park City Main Street is like a reasonable choice, right?
Totally.
Like I think, it is mountains. It is famous because of Sundance, right? Like it is, that is well known. And I do think like there are some parts of like Utah culture that come off, walking up and down Main Street or for like Park City or the Park City Sunday Market. Or
the Miners
right?
Day
like,
Parade. I love the Miners Day Parade.
Yeah. The other one that came to mind, like, because I agree, Sugar House and the Avenues are kind of, I feel like you could find kind of similar neighborhoods in a lot of other places around America. The other one that came to mind for me was kind of the Moab Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
Because nowhere else has like that level of Red Rock beauty so close to kind of a downtown destination.
Yeah, you're right.
Downtown is strong.
No Red Rock representation here. Good point. Even like Kanab, I mean, St. George, like golf course, Red Rock, single family or single story ranch style home. That's like an iconic trio.
Mm-hmm. I would like to add maybe like the 9th and 9th neighborhood has become kind of an iconic neighborhood, I feel like, that area. Because
Are we
of
at the
whale.
point where 9th and 9th has beaten out Sugar House for coolest neighborhood in Salt Lake?
Oh, yeah.
We just did an episode on this. Yeah.
I think 9th and 9th was always the coolest neighborhood in Salt Lake. It was like where the cool alt people lived. It was like the artsy community. And then what happened is what happens everywhere, which is those houses became $1 million and it stopped feeling that way. I do think you say something, though, Ivana, that I think is interesting, which is you say it's iconic. But the category that we're working with here is unmistakably Utah. And so under that headline, I think 9th and 9th does kind of look like to me, those houses in that neighborhood actually looks like Minneapolis.
Oh, interesting.
Or like a sort of like Midwestern city. Like it's flat. They're like, bungalows. But because you can't see the mountains behind them really, because there's not like that relationship with the mountains, they feel less unmistakably Utah. To me, it's like the thing that makes something so unmistakably Utah is that the natural landscape is quite literally like in your backyard. It's bumping up against the house. It's proximity, which is why the avenues, I think, do belong there because, I can walk into the foothills out my back door, and that is really unique.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess like that's why I also think Rock Canyon really fits into that because it's like the Y is right there. It's like such a, I don't know, it's like you're very oriented in where you are. And also like, I think the Provo Temple, I'm going to be honest, I don't know where that's at, but for so many years, like you would see that iconic temple and be like, oh yeah, this is unmistakably like Utah.
I think you're right, Ivana. Like the cultural stereotypes or whatever of Utah should probably play in at least one neighborhood on this list, right?
Yeah, at least one, maybe. Yeah.
And I think that's a reasonable choice.
Yeah. Okay. So we agree then. We kind of feel like, Andy, you think the methodology isn't great, but we kind of think what they ended up with isn't terrible. Sugar House Avenues, Old Town Park City.
We just have other additions to the list and maybe better.
We would sub out maybe some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I might yank Sugar House.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, CityCast Salt Lake contributor and Salt Lake Tribune reporter Andy Larsen, wishing you a wonderful weekend. Same to you, producer Ivana Martinez.
Thanks, Ali.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Pie and Beer Day. Don't forget you can support this show and we will shower you in perks. Become a CityCast Salt Lake neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. That is all for us today. We will be back tomorrow morning with more from around town. Take care.